Barbershop conversations, man. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. So I watched and fell asleep and watched the Terrence Crawford on $1 million worth of game. I got to piece it together and see where I left off at and see what pieces that I missed. And I watched the ESPN First Take interview with them, the face off. And I must say, it's been below board. Like let's start with the $1 million worth of game interview. I did like the Danny Garcia phone call. I thought give them credit for what they did well. I didn't get a chance to see the Jerron Ennis, but I saw it in a little clip. I didn't see it in the interview. That's probably the part where I fell asleep on it at. But to spend a whole second half of the interview talking about who's the better basketball player, cracking jokes, that's corny. It's cool in a little segment, like, you know what I mean? But get back to the information. But that's what happens when you have people who are full of themselves. Let me dial back. I don't have no ill will towards $1 million worth of game. I'm strictly talking about information. That's all. Strictly talking about information. How's camp going in Las Vegas? Who's in camp with you? Who's your sparring partners? The ABCD questions. You know, even if you don't know the real history of it, you know, Gilly wants to be famous. You know, and he finally struck a match with the what's it called? With the podcast. So that's his validation in life, it appears. And his personality, exquisite. Big personality, love, but in terms of being a journalist, nah, it's not there. What's the other guy's name? Stephen A. Smith. Nah, it was whatever. Didn't really care for it. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it as nicely as I can. I'm worth millions of dollars. Millions upon millions of dollars to the build up to this fight. I'm the only journalist. No, let me digress. Because there's only one hope, and his name is Brian Custer. There's only one hope. Because Al Heyman would never let me touch his fighters, because now he has a 2-fight deal with Crawford and Earl Spence. Not at this magnitude, but I'm going to say this. Brian Custer sparred with Earl Spence, and the whole interview wasn't, I don't even think they mentioned it in the interview. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to get down to the information, man. Terrence Crawford got 5 or 6 kids. His daughter went viral for that track meet with one shoe on, or put the shoe back on. He's been with one woman. They talked about him getting shot, but how do you meet his wife? I don't know. I don't even know these stories about Terrence Crawford. I know nothing. I'm talking about in terms of one-on-one interviews. It's me and Brian Custer. That's it. That's it, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Somebody gotta step up. Somebody gotta step up and give us the interview that's gonna make it documentary worthy. When I do long form interviews, in my back of my head, I'm like, I want this interview to be here for 100 years. And I said this on my platform damn near every night. And damn near every night when y'all disagreed with the questions I asked, the guests I had, I said, you're not going to prove if I'm right or wrong. History is going to prove if my platform right or wrong or good or bad. Not you, not how you feel right now. And it means nothing to me. In 100 years, the same way I did my research on Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, and that whole time period, the interviews that was done back then, people say, oh, why are you interviewing him? I thank God everybody interviewed Malcolm X, and whether you were white, whether you were black, or anywhere in between. I'm grateful and thankful. I think I've watched everything I could possibly watch, as it pertains to that subject matter. I'm finding little pieces here and there, and I get excited and I watch it now. And but Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, y'all better come holler at your boy when y'all do y'all press conference in LA. I'm not getting on no plane. I'm not flying to Dallas. I'm not flying to, well, you're in Vegas. I will be in Vegas though, Terrence. I will be in Vegas. If you want to, I'm not begging. I'm extending an olive branch. That's what I'm doing because I want this fight to do well. And every time I do a long form interview, it becomes timeless. Every interview. That Earl Spence interview I did with him lasted damn near 18 months. That interview I did with Deontay Wilder before the second Tyson Fury fight was the most powerful interview of that whole, I did in this hotel room, was the most powerful interview of the whole thing. I was getting, what do you call those things when you get Instagram messages? DMs. I was getting DMs on Earl Spence and Deontay Wilder every day during that. Someone done shared it and, oh, Fred, they didn't give you credit. Man, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. But yeah, man, I'm extending an olive branch. I will be in Vegas. I won't disclose that publicly, but I will be in Vegas. And I say that for, I got someone house sitting my house, you know what I mean? And they will be armed and dangerous, but I will be in Vegas before the fight. And that's it. So Team Crawford, holler at me, man. I know you don't like me, but I'm extending an olive branch because I want you to make millions. I'm going to conduct an interview that you will be able to use in your documentaries 125 years down the line. Because when they do this fight, it's going to be documentaries made on this fight. But you got to give us the content now. You got to be all out. And I will give Terrence Crawford credit. I'm following both of them intently. He is outposting Earl Spence at least 5-1 right now, 5 or 4-1. Earl Spence got to step up his game. He got to get a PR team. He got to start doing interviews every day. And I would suggest, for real, because in addition to, let me say this first. In addition to your comfort zone, Dre has yet to, I haven't mentioned this fight to Dre yet at all. Your wives got to mention you about this fight. Are you going, she hasn't, because when Deontay Wilder fought, I ain't going to lie. She says, she would tell me, because we share the same Google, probably, when we on the same internet. So our searches are together because we got, what do you call those things? When you got the tablets and all that, they call it, we share all the same phones and tablets. So when big fight for Deontay Wilder, she would put it on the schedule before I even tell her I'll be in Vegas for 3 or 4 days for the Wilder fight. It would already be on the calendar. She hasn't mentioned this fight yet to me yet. So this fight ain't big yet because she's typically on board with my boxing schedule because we share the same algorithms. So she knows when Deontay Wilder's fighting. She hasn't mentioned Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford yet. But I'm sure she will sometime in June and ask me if I'm going to the fight. She hasn't asked yet. So, and lastly, I'm going to tell y'all this. Being a cool little N-word got Tank Davis sellouts, yes, but only 200,000 pay-per-view buys. Earl Spence, I don't know how many you did, maybe 300,000 pay-per-view buys, right? They said Wilder did 75,000, right? Before you get your blow-up fight, you got to think bigger than being a cool N-word. You got to think bigger. You got to think, Mom in the kitchen in Omaha, Nebraska, does she know me? I was talking to a parent Friday. I should have recorded him. Damn, I should have recorded him. I'm going to see him June 10th. I'm going to remember to record that parent. I was talking to him Friday, and he's from Omaha, and his parents owned a bar in Omaha, Nebraska, and they didn't know who Terrence Crawford was. And I'm going to record him to remind you guys, because I'm going to promote the hell out of this fight. Why are you going to promote the hell out of this fight, Fred? Because it's the fight we all wanted. I don't want to talk about, oh, he's this age. Nah, we got the fight. We demanded this fight. We get what we want. You know what I mean? It's like you want to go to Six Flags, but Colossus ain't the same for when you as a kid. Why are you mad at Colossus? Like, it is what it is. Like, it changed. Or when you move away from home and you go back to the restaurant that was your favorite as a child, right? And it don't taste the same. It's too much salt now. You know, your taste. Why are you mad at the restaurant? Because your taste bud changed. You know what I mean? I'm just tired of that, man. So stop. No one should be complaining about this fight right now. Could we have got it sooner? Yes. But yesterday, before the fight was announced, we were demanding this fight. Now, see, you can't play both sides of the fence, you know. If you were demanding the fight the day before this fight was announced, you can't complain we got it 5 years too late, because you were complaining. It can be a mention, but you can't say, oh, I'm not watching this fight now. You know, I'm like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, man, I just, I want this fight to do well. At the end of the day, again, I am a boxing fan. Yes, but basketball is taking my heart back, you know, but I'm just one person. And my son is doing exceptionally well. Lincoln is doing a hell of a job. But I am. And the most beautiful thing about it is, y'all know I'm the best. Y'all know. It ain't no secret now. It ain't no secret. So when y'all come to LA and do your press conference, y'all got my phone number. Bo Mac got my number. Earl, y'all team got my number. Holla at me, dog. We can set it up in my mansion. You know what I mean? We could do an interview. I'll get your car service. You need to come holla at me, because I'm not saying this out of ego, though. I'm already rich. My legacy is already cemented in boxing. Everybody knows Fred is the real deal when he does one-on-one interviews, elongated one-on-one interviews. Everybody knows. It's no secret. Y'all better holler at me, dog, because $1 million worth of game, 40 minutes. I ain't gonna lie. I fell asleep and woke up. They were still talking about who's the better player at basketball or so. I was like, what are they talking about? I did. I ain't gonna lie. And then I woke up. It was on Roland Martin. I don't even watch Roland Martin. My TV in the living room was on a Roland Martin video. I was like, I don't even watch Roland Martin. I'm still subscribed to him so I can read the titles, but I don't even watch him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it was. Roland Martin Live, I think it was. So, but yeah. Y'all got to sit down and do some good interviews, man. And Brian Cussard is the last of the Mohicans, man. I think Brian Cussard, I'm talking about one-on-ones, like, you know, I mean, where you sit down and do one-on-one elongated interviews. Akin Barak don't do long-form interviews in person. I don't think like hour and a half, 90 minutes. I don't think they do that consistently. I believe they're capable of it, and I do believe that they're capable of doing it because of their relationships. And I think over COVID, Brian Cussard developed a really good kinship with Terrence Crawford, and he's, you know, him and Earl are like this from a journalist perspective. And lastly, I'm gonna say this too. I meant to do a video on this. Jamel Charlo. The more you hang around men, the better it is for your persona in the public. I saw a picture of him at Jamel Charlo's house eating seafood. I was like, you need to hang around more men like that. You know, at 33 with a family, the results of you hanging out with rappers, actors, and all that is your daughter will have a baby by NBA Youngboy. That's the results in 2023. I don't know if we know this or have accepted it or put it or pretend it doesn't exist. That's the results. You keep your family and your kids away from that demented, demonic lifestyle. Yeah, it's cool to do it once a month, once every other month on a Saturday, and you know somebody, you shake hands, but you don't make that a part of your life. It's a small vignette experience and you carry on. And then the integrity in which you build in your household, the accountability, that should reign supreme. And the reason why I say that is because I'm living it right now. The kids go to a movie at 10:30. They come back at 2. We have a late lunch at 3:30. We're going to the gym from 4 to 6. And we're going to come home and Drea's going to have dinner ready by 6:30. We normally have dinner at 5, but it's the access to the gym. The gym is only free. We have a private gym. It's only open from 4 to 6. So we're going to use that 4 to 6. We're going to go upstairs, take a shower, and I'm willing to bet by 6:30, all 4 of our dinners will be done ready at the table. That's life. Discipline, accountability, family values, family trust. And the culture you should be more important, you should value most, is your dinner table. Not this outside culture. And I'm sorry I'm drifting off, but I wanted to say this to Jamel Charlo because I want all these. I talk a lot of ish. It's all founded in truth. I have a big ego, so I speak out of arrogance sometimes. I check a lot of boxes off in real life, and so I can talk my shit. You know what I mean? I'm pound for pound one of the wealthiest men in boxing. I can talk my shit. I can talk my shit. And family man. I did it simultaneously being a family man. So go figure. So Team Spence, Team Crawford, holler at me when y'all come to the press conference. I don't need it now. I'm just keeping it a buck. I don't need it. I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help. Because obviously my advice is working. Earl Spence got a shirt. Crawford got a shirt. They called each other. I said this 4 years ago. They need their own website. Crawford versus Spence. They flip a coin. Who name goes first? Flip a coin. Best out of 3. Matter of fact, I would make that an event. And here's another event I'm telling you guys to do. Another event. It can be worth $500,000. Y'all split it $250 a piece. I've mentioned it to y'all teams. Y'all don't remember. I've mentioned it to y'all teams during COVID. Here's what I said. Sunday morning. Because I'm thinking 100 years down the line. Listen to me and listen. Because y'all take my advice. So it's no secret. Everybody knows what I say no one else says, right? Sunday morning. If you buy a shirt, you get half off. So let's say, for example, you buy the shirt and tickets are $100. You can pay $50 for this ticket, right? Respectfully, it's a joint venture between Terrence Crawford and Earl Spence. You do a show, Monday Morning Quarterback, with just y'all. No, you ain't got to worry about networks. You ain't got to worry about filtering your language. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Monday Morning Quarterback with the fighters. Sunday around 1:00. Because it's gonna be big, right? So you probably would want to put it in the same arena in which you had it at. Or you can go rent the Thomas and Mack Arena for pennies on the dollar. The Thomas and Mack Arena will probably cost you $10,000 at this point, right? Go rent the Thomas and Mack Center, and guess what? Thomas and Mack got free parking. Free parking. Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford put on a Monday Morning Quarterback with a guy with a personality like mine, right? What I mean by that is a man that understands the streets, a man that has a college degree, a man that can talk the slang, but can also navigate the conversation. And Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford have the conversation about the fight. No one else is on the DS. But the middleman, a person like me, Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, the shit would sell out at $100 a ticket. and you do VIPs and all that, you do it Sunday. You could do it at Sunday dinner time. And there is a disclaimer. There is a disclaimer. If one person is injured, the other person still shows up and y'all do y'all private little agreement. If you get injured, I get 75%, you get 25%. So let's say Earl Spence gets Badu Jack Gash and he can't make it, right? And the fans see it, right? They accept it. Terrence Crawford still shows up and he talks to the fans. You sit down and you talk to the fans. You engage the fans. Those 10,000 people that show up at $100 a whop, plus the merchandising. They're going to be fans for you forever because you gave them the true fan experience. Hopefully Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford teams are talking about something like this. Because you know typically what happens? It happens with Ali and Frazier. The fighters talk and they hand the business over to Bob Arum and at that time, Don King. You know what these fighters do? They talk and hand the business over to Al Heyman. So they can't make a business move without an Al Heyman permission. This is a $500,000 job. How much is $10,000? $10. That's $100,000 plus merchandising. You guys walk away with an extra $500,000, maybe a little too steep. But when you do the VIP stuff and all that, you do the packaging and all that, it could be $500,000. But you got to understand the realities of it, man. You know, it is what it is, man. And you put your question in a thing and it gets put into a thing and it gets asked. It's a 2-hour event. You give the fans what they want. And the 2 hours don't go by so fast because we've never heard fighters literally have a conversation. Hey, when you did that to me in the third round, you kind of tricked me. You know what I mean? 2-hour event. Let's add something to it. Because they're big personalities in this too. The first hour, the first 30 minutes, a person like me, Bomac, Derek James. Derek James is very calculated when he talks now. Only wants what's best for my fighters. You know, he can let his hair down a little bit, no pun intended. Shout out to Derek James. His butt is getting in shape. I respect that about you, Derek James. Your ass is always in shape. No, your ass has been in shape the past 2 or 3 years. Tip my hat to you. I respect that about you. Bomac, get your ass in shape, dog. Not for this fight, not for being funny, not for the Earl Spence shit. I want you here longer. I'm going to keep it a buck. I like Bomac. When me and Bomac and Team Spence, I'm going to give y'all a nugget. I'm going to so y'all know. When I was talking my shit about Bomac was texting me, talking cash shit, and I love it. Like I told you, I'm the guy that can hang around arrogant, confident men. I've done it my whole life. I've been hanging around celebrities since I was 16, since I was a junior in high school at Venice High School. You know what I mean? So that's why you don't see me taking pictures with a lot of celebrities. I just shake their hand. I respect you. Thank you. Keep going. And that's it. I don't have a lot of pictures with Wilder or anything like that. You know what I mean? I think I've been around Wilder 20 times and took 2 pictures. You know what I'm saying? So go figure. You get it? So I want the best for this overall. So Bomac, get in shape, dog. From me to you, man to man, mano a mano, get in shape. Terrence Crawford would not be Terrence Crawford without you. What you did for Jamal, Mr. Herring's career. And shout out to all the heroes. It's Memorial Weekend. Shout out to all the veterans. Thank you. What you've done for Mr. Herring's career, I tip my cap to you. But your ass won't be here long if you don't get in shape, dog. And I'm a man. So like when the dude came on my platform, damn, this is a long ass video. When the man came on my platform and said, Fred, you done gained some weight, dog. He was right. You know what I said? You're right. I have. You know what I was doing around last year this time, it's May. I had sold my house. I had to move some I was missing workouts. I had to move some properties around. I had gained 15 pounds, but I wasn't working out. So it's a different 15 pounds when you're not working out. You can put on 15 pounds when you're working out. He said, Fred, your face looks fat. You looking like Adrian Broner. I said, you're right, dog. The next day I came back to the platform. I said, you're right, dog. I have gained weight. You know what I did the next day? I went back, started running, went back working out. You know what I mean? Because you got to keep the main thing. Self-preservation is the law of the land. You got to be healthy. Yeah, it felt good to move about $10 million around to get this mansion that you guys see behind me. It was great. It was beautiful. But the reality is, if I'm not here, the Hawthorns lose value. And I had to be here, so I had to get my ass back on them, hit them boxing gloves and put them gloves on and go back running and do what I need to do. So Bomac get in shape. So the first 30 minutes, Derek James versus Bomac, live and in color. Then the hour, they leave the DS. Then it's Earl Spence, me, Terrence Crawford. The reason why I say me, and I wouldn't go to the fight, so I would fly up Sunday morning. Because I want to watch the fight with my friend. I think this is a fight that I've been telling my friends about. And now that I have the space, I got a big ass acre in the backyard. We gonna do it. I told Earl Spence when he does it, I'm putting on a big fight party. So I'm most likely I'll be doing that. And I'll fly up Sunday morning. And do it. And we'll get it done. And I'm doing this as an olive branch. I don't need the, you're gonna pay me, but I don't need the money, don't desire the money. Monday morning, I'm gonna make $10,000 or $15,000 in the stock market. So it doesn't matter to me on a good day. You know what I mean? On a bad day, I could lose $10,000 or $15,000, but you go in there with the optimism. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna make $15,000, guaranteed. I already know. I see it trending. Tomorrow, I'm probably gonna make about $20,000. I'm saying this right now because it's trending in the aftermarket. Like in the afterlife, you know how Tupac trended for all you baby daddies? Tupac trends. Anyways, man, I said all this to say, if y'all need my help, man, holler at me. I know your handlers don't want me to be a part of this, but that one-on-one interview, it's either gonna be me or Brian Custard. That's it. That's the only hope for this. If not, it's going to be that shock jock shit, and we never get down to it. I don't know if they're going to do a face-off. But in a long-form face-off event, Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford talking about the fight of the century, the fight of this generation, after the fight, you could charge $200 for that ticket. I want to be there for that. If you're a fan, you wake up Sunday morning, you go. But you got to put it in now so people can fly out Sunday night, Monday morning, because hotels are cheap on Sunday in Vegas. You can get the MGM for $20. $38 you can get the MGM for. You got to pay that resort fee, though. Barbershop conversations, man. I really want this fight to do well. I love Errol Spence. I have grown to appreciate Terrence Crawford, especially him being a family man. I respect what they've done at B&B Boxing at the end of the day. I don't need them. Fred is going to be successful. Matter of fact, I've already cemented what I'm doing for the next 10 years. I'm going to tell you guys, Wednesday, they're going to, a press release is coming Wednesday, Thursday of this week. Wednesday or Thursday of this week, the press release is coming. So I'll let you guys know what I'm doing then. It's not big for you, but it's big for me and how I'm going to give back to my community. So that's one of the biggest reasons why I stopped doing the live show. And when I announce this, you guys will understand my mindset and what I did. You're going to be like, oh, that made sense what Fred did. So it took about, February, March, April, May. It took about 90 days. We finally got it in, finally got it done. So that's where we'll be. So expect an announcement from me this week. 100% an announcement is coming from me this week as it pertains to why I stopped doing my live show and I had to pursue some other things and why I stopped really navigating myself in these boxing streets. You know what I mean? So anyways, man, y'all have a great day. Barbershop conversation. I truly appreciate you. Earl Spence, Team Crawford, holler at me. I done gave you guys millions $1 million worth of game already. Now let's make it $2 million worth of game. I'm gone. Peace.